Hello, and welcome to the Iron Completion series with me, the LazyBoneZone. Whilst editing the last video, I managed to get up to level 92 HP as seen in the clip, and also 79 ranged. The idea I had for this week's video was to attempt to kill a new boss in the wilderness, Spindle, and I planned on killing it until I managed to get a few items, but I made a huge mistake. I haven't spent much time in the wilderness over the past few years. The knowledge I had was that I kept 3 expensive items as long as I have PK prevention enabled and don't attack another player. You see that skull above my head? That's right, I didn't realise that most of this week I was situated in the high risk world and I automatically risk every single item on death. Anyways, moving on, let's talk about this boss. This is my first attempt at Spindle. It's much easier than Zora since I can negate almost all the damage here using my prayer and moving about. The best way I had available to squash this spider was using a new dual Macoattles on the crush style. Spindle has 4 stages which it rotates between. The first stage, it summons 2 spiderlings with 5 HP. Every time you attack them, you will hit your max damage so they die quickly, but whilst they are alive you can be damaged slightly through your protect room melee. After Spindle attacks a couple of times, Spindle will walk to another part of the cave which initiates its next stage. Nothing special happens on this one, but it helps keep track of where you are in the fight. The next time Spindle walks starts stage 3, which can be devastating if you haven't been paying attention. On Spindle's second attack, he will also shoot at a slow moving orb that lands on the position you were stood, leaving a huge cobweb. Ideally, on this phase you want to stand near the edge of the arena to avoid this being placed somewhere you could accidentally step on. The final stage, Spindle walks to another part and attacks normally. The spiderweb on the floor can hit you for damage every single game tick and it drains your prayer and run energy, so you want to avoid this at all costs. As long as you are within melee distance of Spindle, it will only use melee attacks. However, whilst you are dodging some mechanics and not within melee distance, it will shoot either ranged or magic attacks. These can hit upwards towards around 30 damage. The entire time I was doing this, I had a scout outside the caves so I could instantly teleport should a player lock in. It was crazy how many players were throwing teleport blocks instantly as they dropped into the cave. I believe these people were using auto TB scripts. I don't think it was humanly possible to do it at the speed they was. Regardless, I managed to complete the combat tasks for this boss, which was only 10 kill count and 20 kill count, resulting in 7 combat achievement points. This is a look at the special items this boss can drop. Ideally, I can obtain a dragon pickaxe for mining and maybe, just maybe, a Voidwaker gem, which is part of the Voidwaker weapon I want in the future. During my trips here, I wanted to test the new Blood Moon armor, since it increases my attack speed. However, I didn't notice too much of an improvement, and thinking about it, I could get a better kill speed if I was doing this on a Slayer task. However, I will try this gear at another spider in the future, which is Sarachnis. It has much lower defense values, so should make the Blood Moon armor better to use. The first Wilderness Slayer task I obtained was bears, so I tried another new boss, Artio. Using Blood Bark armor, the new Blue Moon spear and a Slayer helm, I attempted to heal up using Blood Blitz spells. Whilst this did heal a lot of the damage from the boss, I wanted to see what it was like if I borrowed a wilderness weapon from a team member. And oh my god, did this thing slap! I was able to kill this boss with absolute ease. The only problem is the team doesn't have much ether available, so I only managed to get around 40 kills. I will talk more about this boss in the future when I'm geared up to kill it properly. I obtained both combat achievements for another 7 points, and here's the loot from 40 kills. I then went and finished the rest of this task on normal bears outside. Task number 2 was Black Knights in the fortress. I believe they just updated this task with the wilderness update, but previously the best way to do this was to run around upstairs and kill the low leveled ones. Third task was lesser demons, and the drops from these are amazing. I killed them in the Wilderness Slayer caves and they have a whole new drop table in here. I pulled a couple of Laren's keys and just look at the value of the loot for these few kills. Task 4, I spooned the task I was looking for, spiders. The accuracy and DPS boost whilst doing this on a Slayer task was worth it. Here's 72 Slayer and 1850 total. Unfortunately, I died whilst running towards Spindle for my PKO using auto teleplock and AHK. This is where I learned that I lost my safe items, a Fury, a Slayer helmet and dual Makuatls down the drain. Ah well. So here, I'm hunting for a new black mask. I didn't catch the footage as the death was fast. This was a huge lesson for me to learn, and I'm glad it was easily replaceable items. Anyway, here I put together another new Slayer helm and I headed back to Spindle to finish the 73 kills. Here is the total loot from all the Spindle I've killed this week. One of the downsides to losing the Slayer helmet was I needed to imbue the new Slayer helmet, so I've taken myself to do some AFK training at Nightmare Zone. Literally, the following morning, Jagex released an update that prevents you from losing your imbue on Slayer helms if lost in the wilderness. Trust me to die the day before. Oh well. Along with that update, they also updated the Wilderness Agility course. This clip has something different in it. I wonder if you Inspector Gadgets out there can pick up on what it is. Anyways, if you pay 150,000 GP, you can earn loot whilst you're training agility. I did about 40 laps on release and kept getting attacked, so I decided to cut my losses and run away with this loot. Once I get some ice sacks and 94 magic, it could be worth training here. One of my team members agreed to make me a new Fury, so I sold 28,000 Chaos Runes to buy an Onyx and made sure to equip my Karamja gloves for the discount. Pulling in to close the week up, I high out the 1500 water battle staffs I made last week whilst doing some agility on Sears rooftops. I've decided over the next few weeks there's going to be a big training sessions and I'll compare different methods. These grinds will be massive, so it might take me a bit longer than normal to come out, but I should be able to work on my secret project whilst I do them. To wrap this week up, I've spent time in Nightmare Zone whilst I edit this video. Until next time, goodbye.